Newfound interest in Connecticut were a band. There's not a lot of information out there about them I could find. I believe they were from Toronto, Canada, and that they released one album and I think one EP. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the single album by Newfound Interest in Connecticut. And this is my first encounter with them, but this is also a request review. So requested by somebody using the handle of Spiker, and on one of my other request reviews, if I remember rightly. So, hi Spiker, if you're watching, fine. And at this point, always, I would like to say that I don't just do request reviews. Actually, most of the reviews on this channel are of the 3,000 greatest albums of all time, according to a list at a website called Acclaim Music, which is an amalgamated list from various critic lists. And I have just hit a milestone of a quarter of the way through. A quarter of the way through a list doesn't sound like a lot, but that's 750 reviews that I've done off the list so far. So it feels like quite a lot to me. Anyway, let's get to this album. So let's try and describe it. And I've seen things that describe this as being emo and as being post-rock and as being math-rock. And I think math-rock is maybe one of the best words for it. I'm just going to have to try and describe that, though, because it's not kind of full-on math-rock anyway. So math-rock tends to be quite technical and quite complex in what's going on, and that's certainly true here, but math rock tends to be more kind of clinical, and this is definitely more emotional in its approach. There's a drummer who seems to have about 5 arms. He seems to have an awful lot going on at once, and then there's indie alt guitar and bass, and there's, I believe, 2 guitarists most of the time, and then there's occasional other sounds like I think bits of keyboard sounds as well. It is, as I said, complex and complicated musically. It's verging on prog, but somehow it's looser than most prog and rougher. It's kind of got this very kind of throw yourself at it attitude. Sometimes it's quite discordant. Occasionally it's quite mellow. At times it's unusual harmonically. And at times it kind of made me think of avant-garde jazz, and I'm not really sure why. The singing is mostly emo-style shouting, as if the end of the world has come, and it's not easy to make out the words, so I don't really have much to say on the words. It very much feels like they're giving it everything they've got on this album, I mean, especially the singer, but the rest of the band as well. They're really throwing themselves at this music. In between the tracks, there are vignettes with little bits of speaking and sound effects, and it maybe implies some kind of walking journey that they're going on, which would fit with the title of the album. Maybe I'm just putting that interpretation on it because of the name of the album. So, what do I think of it? I certainly found, looking around, there are some people that really love it. There are some people that think this is the best album ever. I think it's a bit of a grower. So the first time I listened, I was not. It was okay. Second time, I was a bit more engaged and I got more out of it. It reminds me of somebody. I'm sure I've reviewed something that was similar to this, but my memory isn't good enough for me to be able to pull that out and remember what that was. So I did like it, but I'm not gone overboard on it. It was kind of mildly, and I think I'd have to be in the right mood to listen to it as well. It's somewhat intense listening. So that's what I think. Thanks for the suggestion, Spiker. And for everybody, I'd love to know what you think of this album, so please do leave a comment down below. And that's it from me for now.